I just want you to take a minute and think back onto when you were in elementary school. What were some of the things that you learned about in elementary school? Can you give me any examples of something you learned that you thought was important?
Yeah, that's pretty important.
Yeah.
And then also I like to think about, I learned to read. I learned how to write simple sentences and basic sentences. And I also learned just fundamental math skills. That I feel like early childhood education in elementary school is the foundation and the early stepping stones that you need in order to be successful. Because in order to live a successful life, they say that you need an education to do so. And I am a very firm believer in that, as I'm going into early childhood education with the hopes of getting a kindergarten or first grade position of my own by the time I graduate this spring. And I see it as this being the very, very, very beginning and first stepping stone into becoming who you are as well. And I don't find it fair to deny anyone the right, or any child the right, to a decent and proper early childhood education. Elementary school and early childhood education are the same thing. They talk about grades preschool and going clear up to 3rd grade. At this time in a child's development is when their minds are like little sponges and they learn at a rapid rate and they absorb all of these things all at once. They're going through cognitive development, they're learning language skills, social development, problem solving abilities, and they're learning social skills as well as the basic fundamentals of math, reading, writing, and being able to elaborate on those as they go on throughout their educational career. And if there wasn't early child education, students would typically be starting school at the age of 10. Now imagine it and thinking it this way, you're 10 years old, but you're starting at a 1st grade level. At 10 years old, you're learning how to read, you're learning how to write, and you're learning how to count and do basic math and addition and subtraction. But I think also the biggest infrastructure of education are our teachers. They're the ones that know about the information they're teaching you and how they get it across to you. And teacher training is something that's taken very seriously here in America, and something I'm kind of equipped with very well, is you have to go through a 4-year education program, and if you go through one like here at Mount, where you're in observational opportunities every single semester, you're getting about 75 plus hours every single semester in classrooms, learning and getting experiences and tips and hands-on opportunities to work with kids to see what it's going to be like in the field when you get there someday. And also, you're taking about 16 to 20 credit hours every single semester. By the time you hit your spring semester of senior year, you're doing student teaching, where you become the teacher of the classroom and you get to be fully submerged in this every day of the week, from when the kids get there to when they leave. As you're going through all of this process, you have to pass your state licensure exams. That varies different, whatever state you're in, but here in Ohio, we have to take something called the OAEs. Those are multiple different tests that feel like they cost about an arm and a leg to be able to pass them all, because you have to pay for it every single time you take it. And for me, for my licensure, I have to take at least 4 of them. And to be able to even graduate and get my license here, you have to pass all of those OAEs. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to graduate and get just a very expensive piece of paper. But if you do pass and you graduate and you get your license, then and only then can you become a teacher. And when you become a teacher, you're very qualified, you're trained in learning, identify different learning skills and abilities of all students, being able to accommodate, think on your feet, and work with every kid so that they get the best learning experience possible. But other countries aren't as equipped as we are in training our teachers. From articles I read from early child development and care and the nature and quality of classrooms, schools in Zimbabwe, Africa, really aren't training their teachers to be adequate for their students. They go to universities and they get degrees or certificates to know the background knowledge of what they're teaching their kids. They don't train their teachers to different teaching methods and different teaching styles, and giving them tools and methods that they can use to be effective and efficient in the classrooms. And I think this is what damages children's learning experiences, is when the teachers don't know how to work with the students. There was another article I read that talked about, it was from the Journal of Research in Rural Education, that there are 427,800 elementary students in Zimbabwe, but there are only 4,000 elementary school teachers. If you average that out, that's every single one of those little X's is a student. 106 students for one teacher who knows what they're talking about, but they have no idea how to teach and implement this to their kids. Just as a little bit of an example, my dad's an accountant. If I told my dad to go into a room full of 106 kids and tell them how to, teach them how to read, I really don't think any of those kids are gonna come out of there knowing what they're doing. My dad knows how to read. He's a very good reader. He loves to read on his own, but I don't think he would know how to even come across all the different learning styles of each kid, disabilities from each child, and knowing how to get that information across so that they're able to apply it in their own life. Zimbabwe's early childhood education system, it's crumbling. They've been trying to implement it for over about a decade now, but it's not really substantial to what it needs to be effective, and for all the child to feel the benefits that they should be in order to live an effective life. And I feel that by reaching out and branching out to other countries in search of help for training, then I think that might be a little bit more of a more effective way of educating their students. So my idea was to start a college program. In addition to the other courses and observation that we're doing here in America in college, there would be an additional workshops throughout the 4 years of their college career, because if you do it all in one semester, it's just going to be too overwhelming and not appealing to other students. Where in addition to what they're learning in training and content, they're working with students on how to communicate with people in Zimbabwe, different styles of teaching over there, and also what life will be like over there, and sending them, the new student teachers, over to Zimbabwe for a year and do workshops and training with different teachers in different schools or as a mass community, and working on how to effectively implement different teaching styles and strategies and techniques to better the lives of these children even right here and ones that are just like them. And then this is also a once-in-a-lifetime experience for these student teachers. They're getting to go over to a different country, learn about diversity, different styles of teaching that we might not do it over here, and that might be they're trying to implement over there, trying to think of, and different ways and different points of views on how to implement such activities with kids over here in America. And also as another incentive for this program would be to try to work with the government, offer student loan forgiveness for teachers who are willing to participate in this program. Other variations of this program, and students aren't really intrigued by the idea, is seeing if teachers who are retired were willing to be coming out of retirement, going through a brief 6-week crash course. They already know how to teach. They've done it their whole life. They made a career of it and a living. But to also just refresh them on what life would be like over there, and also new modern teaching styles as well. This would be for about 6 months to a year, whichever they prefer to choose. And this could also, by the time they come back, be willing to maybe think, maybe I want to get back into education. Not so much getting into the elementary classrooms, but going to universities and colleges and teaching the new wave of teachers today to educate them on how to be better teachers based on experiences that they've gained in the field and also from this program. And if teachers are understandably unwilling to come out of retirement after however many plus years they've served, teachers in America could come up with a more structured and guided curriculum to send over to Zimbabwe with the materials as well as all the supplies that would be needed, with instructions on how to use it and also different potential ways of using the materials to be able to deliver the most effective message to the students. I believe this change would greatly help students because, well, also here in America and in Zimbabwe, seeing as how the Zimbabwe teachers will be more trained and well equipped to be able to work with their kids, but also teachers here in America would have gained experiences that they would never be able to get anywhere else, and implement that with students over here, or having teachers coming out of retirement and working with college students to become better teachers, or being able to develop a more structured curriculum and get ideas to implement here in America and making life better. Because no child should ever be denied the chance to be successful, have a good life, and have the potential to learn. And I'm a firm believer in not just sitting back and watching something happen when I know that I can make a difference and a positive change on it.